All right, looks like we are currently live. Awesome. Hello, everyone. My name is John, and welcome to this post-Christmas live stream. Today, we're just kind of hanging out, talking about the stuff that's happened over the past year or so, and reflect upon the future, maybe. This is just all, it's just easygoing. This live stream will probably last for about an hour or so, depending on how well things go. But yeah. Right now we're just chilling, waiting for some other people to show up. And if the people show up like well into the live stream itself, we should be able to you should be able to fast forward to get to those exciting moments if you're watching this live stream after the fact. So yeah. Let me just check something on my phone. I have a few things to look into. Come on. Okay. Yep. 4 p.m. PST. Just as I said it would be. Jeez, is that what my hair looks like? Fudge. Yeah, much better. So I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas. Hope you all got to spend time with friends and family, or if you were by your lonesome, I at the very least hope you weren't bored. I actually got some pretty cool presents to show. I actually got presents from a lot of people, and I'll gladly show them, but I feel like I should wait for some other people to show up. That way, the people who attend this live stream in real time can see for themselves. But again, if you're watching this live stream after the fact, feel free to fast forward. But I suppose, in the meantime, I should be able to talk about a thing or two. It's been a very unusual year, to put it mildly. I've kind of rebooted this channel to become a booktube channel, or at least tried to. That Minecraft the Island review video, that really took a lot out of me, and I think I'm going to have to really try to figure out a better way to make videos, because I invested a lot of time into that video, and a lot of time that I put into that video I could have spent, making other videos. And while I don't think it's a terrible video per se, I'm not sure if it's a video that I would make again and again. So, as I said, I think I'm going to have to change the format a little bit. Something a bit more akin to showing off several books at once, rather than just specifically going over one specific book. And if I ever do make any kind of review, it would have to be over a book that legitimately affected me in some way. And funnily enough, there actually is a book that affected me in some way. Here, I need to go get something. It's in my room, so stay put. Okay. He has returned. Hold on a sec. Sorry, just adjusting the settings a little bit. What's the... Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust the gain just a tiny bit. Okay, yeah, that's much better. Oh, sorry if you hear people downstairs. You know, they're in the middle of doing stuff. You know, like cleaning up after the fact. Yeah, after Christmas. So anyway, a book that affected me recently was this Minecraft: The End. And I actually read a couple of chapters of this book during a live stream when I was showing off a bunch of different Minecraft novels. And I gotta say, when I was done reading this book, it really stayed with me. Like, like for a book about building things and fighting monsters, yeah, this actually has a really good story behind it. And I think one of the reasons that makes this book special is the fact that it actually goes into the lore of the Endermen themselves, you know, their culture, how things work in the end, things of that nature. And I'm not entirely sure if it's canon or not. Like, I'm sure it's canon in the story, but I'm not sure if it's canon in Minecraft in general, like the way the Enderman religion works, or like basically how the world of the Enderman works. I don't know if it translates or is canon to every other aspect of Minecraft or every Minecraft story out there. Yeah, the lore, that's what I'm trying to say, the lore. Like, you go into the lore of the end in this book, and, you know, it has interesting characters and, you know, they really change over time. Basically, uh, a lot of Minecraft stories these days, it's usually one of two things. The first one is it's a story set in the world of Minecraft, or two, it takes place in real life, and one of the things that they do in real life is play a game of Minecraft. And this one is neither of those things. It actually takes place in the end. The main characters are Endermen, and it's about the Endermen themselves. Because in a bunch of other books, it usually revolves around human characters or humanoid characters, the since the character designs themselves in Minecraft are very blocky, almost reminiscent of Lego. And so I think that's one of the first great things about this book, is that it's different from the rest. I mean, I'm looking at a bunch of novels back there right now, and they definitely fall in some other category that isn't this. In fact, come to think of it, there actually is a novel on my bookshelf right there called Minecraft the Dragon, and I assume it revolves around the Ender Dragon itself. Now, that said, this book does talk about the Ender Dragon, and the Ender Dragon has a personality and is very intelligent, and it's like the closest thing to a god that these people have. The actual god that the Endermen have is a thing called the Great Chaos. So the end is very chaos focused. Like, there's no real order, because order is the opposite of chaos. And the way humans tell scary stories about Endermen, it's the other way around for the Endermen. You know, humans are like the scariest thing imaginable. Like, for those of you who didn't attend that live stream, I'll read what the little teaser is right here on the inner flap. For as long as they can remember, the twin Endermen Finn and Mo. Hold on, let me just check something. Yeah. For as long as they can remember, the twin Endermen Finn and Mo have lived in the mysterious land of the End. On the outskirts of the great Enderman city of Talos, they explore ancient ruins under the watchful gaze of the mighty Ender Dragon. They have everything they need in the End ship they call home, and know everything there is to know about their world. Or so they think until the strangers from another dimension arrive. The invaders are called humans, and they've come to steal artifacts and slay the Ender Dragon. Finn and Mo are ready to protect their home from the trespassers, but when they come face to face with the humans, they discover that they aren't as prepared for battle as they'd thought. Caught off guard, the twins are trapped in the middle of a war between the Endermen and the humans, with the future of their home at stake. Yeah, that doesn't even begin to cover the kind of stuff that happens in this book, because, wow, all the different kinds of things that happen in this book are, like, absolutely mind-blowing. The author of this book, Catherine M. Valenti, that's what she looks like right there. Keep in mind, I have the autofocus off, so I'm just doing the best I can to show you what she looks like. I think I might have to read more books by her because I really like the way she writes. It's very poetic, but very mysterious and almost alien-like, which is perfect for the kind of story they're going for, since this is the end, and the Endermen themselves are very much alien in nature. Here, let's read a little bit about Catherine M. Valenti. Catherine M. Valenti is the New York Times best-selling author of dozens of works of science fiction and fantasy, including space opera, the Refrigerator Monologues, and the Fairyland series. She has won or been nominated for every award in her field. She lives on an island off the coast of Maine with her partner, her son, and several other mischievous beasts. Oh, it even has some other information about her right here. CatherineMValenti.com, Twitter @CatValenti. Also available from Penguin Random House Audio. And that's actually the way that I read this book, via audiobook. And the audiobook is pretty well done, in my opinion. And here, I'm just going to check something on the back. Relax, I'm not going to read any spoilers, I promise. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I started reading, like, the end of this book, I got a little teary-eyed. If you actually read this book, then you know exactly why. Like I said, this book is actually really, really good. It's mind-blowing. It's interesting. In fact, I'm thinking about recommending this book to my folks. Honestly, if out of all the books that I've read so far, if you only had to read one, and I mean one, Minecraft novel, this would be it. Hands down. Now, I'm not sure there's going to be a sequel to this book or not. I mean, the ending kind of leaves it open to a sequel in some sense. Like, I don't want to say too much as to why or how it could be for fear of spoilers. On the back has this picture of a dragon, and it says right here, it is always, it is always night in the end. There's no sunrise, there's no sunset. It is a beautiful place, and it is not empty. And there are passages like that all throughout the book. Like, there's a lot of poetry, there's a lot of, as I said, it's very alien in nature, the way this book is written in some way. It's like fantastical and alien. That'd be a more accurate way to describe it. 5 playbacks. Interesting. I guess I couldn't really keep people's attention all that much in here. And I think that's something that I need to learn how to do in the next in the new year, because I do have some other things planned. I might have an idea on how to make this a much more exciting and fun YouTube channel with more frequent content aside from the live streams themselves. Like, I want to make content that's frequent but a lot easier to make, because that Minecraft the Island review video, that was not an easy video to make, not even a little bit. And I'm going to be honest, I may have already said this before, but there have been times when I was making that video where I absolutely absolutely hated it, and I just wanted to, like, I've thought multiple times of, like, not continuing that video. I've thought of multiple times to just stop, give up on the channel, but I didn't. And it's a good thing that I went through with that video, because I felt like it gave me an idea of, like, it made me realize that I could do things differently for the channel. It made me realize that there are different courses of action in which I could make this a much more exciting channel. And kind of similar to how Metal Jesus Rocks like demonstrates all these different kinds of hidden gem video games from retro gaming systems, like the PlayStation 2 and GameCube, Xbox, things of that nature. Yes, those are now considered retro systems, right alongside the original PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis. You get the idea. But yeah, the way his videos work is that he shows off a game, and he shows gameplay footage, like alongside a picture of the game case itself. And I figured that I could do something similar with books. Like, for instance, I could do a video that talks about all the different Minecraft novels that are available. And I don't think I would put every single Minecraft book in one video. Like, I could put a set of Minecraft videos for one video, and another set of Minecraft, you get the, let me try explain that again. Let's say there are 10 Minecraft books. I could put out a video that talks about the first 5, and then another video that talks about the second 5. That's what I mean. And there could be another video about the Resident Evil books. Maybe those would be like a one-off video where I would be able to show all the different kinds of... Like, I think that would be a one-off video, because there's only a handful of Resident Evil novels out there. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I think there are 7 Resident Evil books, and only 7 Resident Evil books, and they go from Resident Evil 0 all the way to Resident Evil Code Veronica, and then they stop. For whatever reason, they never made novelizations of Resident Evil 4 and onwards. Yeah, I specifically remember, like, when I was reading it at the time, not the books themselves, I was reading about how these books existed. And I was, right around the time Resident Evil 4 came out, back in early 2005, I was expecting the novel for Resident Evil 4 to come out shortly after, but it never did. And then Resident Evil 5 came around, no novel. Resident Evil 6 came around. Resident Evil 7, nothing. Resident Evil 8, nothing. There wasn't even a novel for any of the spin-off games that came out between the main timeline games. So I feel bad for S.D. Perry, the author of those books, because from what I heard, they're actually really, really good. But the point I'm getting at is there'd be, like, several videos that just talk about, like, one video game franchise and its novels. Oh, another great example. There are, like, so many Halo books out there, like Halo novels. Like, there's Halo the Fall of Reach, Halo the Flood, Halo First Strike. Like, that's like one trilogy of Halo novels. There's also a third trilogy, and there's like a quadrilogy, I think. There are like over 20 Halo books, and covering them all in one video I think would be too much of a challenge. So maybe for one video I'd only talk about like the first trilogy, or maybe the first 2 trilogies. I haven't really decided yet. One thing I do know, though, is that if I ever make a video that talks about the Halo novels, I need to make sure that I have my video formula down to a T, so that so that I have all the kinks out of the way. I'll make virtually little to no mistakes. Because if I'm going to make a video about those novels, I want to make sure that I can do it justice. Because video game novels, they aren't as popular as I believe they should be. And I feel that way for a lot of things, not just video game novels. There's this anime that I really like called Gintama. And it's an anime that's arguably just as popular as Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Dragon Ball Z. But I mean, when I say it's popular, I mean popular in Japan. You see, the thing about Gintama is that, yeah, it has its own storyline in it, but it's also a love letter to all the different anime and manga out there. And because it talks about all the different kinds of manga and anime series out there, it's very popular in Japan. But for whatever reason, Gintama never really got its fair shot in America, or North America for that matter. Like, because the series is so focused on Japanese culture, from Japanese celebrities, Japanese TV shows. I'm not just talking about anime when it comes to Japanese TV shows. I'm talking like Edo period soap operas. You know, those kinds of things. You know, the ones with like the samurai with the top knot right here, or the chomage, I think it's called. And, you know, it takes place during what I guess is like Japanese medieval times. I'm probably butchering the names for these kinds of periods, for these kinds of Japanese periods in time. But yeah, that's because, you know, I'm ignorant about that kind of thing. But one thing I do know is that I want to learn more about that culture. And I feel like people or audiences in North America or audiences outside of Japan have been invested so much in anime at this point that I feel that they'll be able to appreciate a series like Gintama. And I was thinking of making a channel that sort of focuses on Gintama, but there's nothing definite yet. I have an idea or two, but I hesitate to say that this is an announcement, but it's a seed that I have planted in my head, and I'm just figuring out ways for it to grow. In fact, hang on. Might be a little hard to tell because, well, actually, where did I put my phone? Oh, right, it's right here. Right now, I have my lights set to blue, as you can tell by everything being shined in blue. Let me turn this into a cool white color. There we go. Okay. So, here, let me just move the camera. Okay, this is a Logitech camera right here. And right behind my computer is this poster right here. This is a poster of Gintama, and this is the anime that I was just talking to you about. It's an excellent anime. It's available on Crunchyroll, but the problem is there are some episodes that just flat out won't load, or they'll play for a few minutes and then just freeze, and there's literally nothing you can do to make it keep going. There are like the first 50 episodes are on Crunchyroll, and the first episodes are also on Hulu. But the thing is, on Hulu, there's an English dub, but the subtitle version that's also on Hulu uses subtitles from the English dub. So the kinds of jokes that the English dub has are now being used as the translation for the Japanese audio on Hulu. And I guess you could call them dub titles. That'd be the more accurate name for them. The point is, Hulu isn't the best place to check out the series. Man, how many times am I going to have to adjust my hair in this live stream? Jeez. Did I bring my brush? I think I may have forgotten. Here, I'll be quick. And he's back. As you can see, I tidied up my hair a little bit. You know, a quick brushing, a small application of hairspray, and I think I'm a lot better now. Interesting. It says I have 7 playbacks on this video, but I don't really know what they mean when they say that. Like playbacks as in they play the, like someone sees that this video is playing, they watch for like maybe a second and they realize, wow, this guy is really boring, and then they leave. Yeah, it says 0 concurrent viewers, 0 chat rate, 7 playbacks, average watch time is 4 seconds. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but I think it takes real talent to like scare people off in 4 seconds or less. Perhaps that's another thing that I can figure out how to fix in 2022. But I think that's enough of the bright white background. I'm going to change it to a different color now. Let's try green. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, much better. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just realized that I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, 2022. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see the kinds of things that'll happen in the new year. Do you guys have anything that's going to be happening in the new year? Let me know in the comments below. Feels kind of awkward to say that because I don't really ask people to do that. I don't know, it just feels like there's a disconnect when I do that, but I don't know, maybe it's a requirement that YouTubers have to do or something. I don't know. I have to finish the rest of that YouTube course that I'm on, 30 Days to a Better YouTube Channel. Better get on that. Maybe I should focus less about taking notes while watching it and just watch the entire thing once, and then maybe go back and look into what I could maybe do to make this a better channel or make a new channel. I mean, like while focusing on this channel as well. There's just a lot for me to take in, and my hope is that no matter what I do, I hope that in some way these channels will help me have some kind of potential career in the future, because I want to be an actor and I also want to do voiceover stuff, and people have told me that they like listening to my voice, so I think the potential is there. I just have to go about it the right way if I can figure what the right way is. Need to put on some lip balm. My lips are dry. Sorry if that hurt. All right, we're 30 minutes into this stream, and I currently don't have any concurrent viewers watching this with me, which is okay. I mean, I would have liked to, chat with some people, but, that's fine. I can't expect everything to be perfect every single time. Kind of wonder if I've isolated, like, my original viewers, or alienated my original viewers who used to frequently attend these live streams, with my erratic schedule and the fact that I haven't been live streaming as much. And if that's the case, then I apologize. I want to make sure that this is entertaining for not just me, but for everyone who watches it. But, I also realize that people have a lot going on in their lives, and 2021, like 2020, has been a very rough year for everybody, so I can't imagine everyone's going to be in the best mood to, just check out a relatively small channel. A relatively small channel like mine. I mean, yeah, I have 1,900 subscribers, but if the chat is any indication, that doesn't mean much. I wonder if there are any channels out there that have less than 500 subscribers, but they always attend live streams or whatever. I might have to look into something like that. I suppose I can also use this time as an opportunity to, just kind of self-reflect. Even if this is an audience of one for me, this live stream, and the audience is me, then it's a good way to sort of look at myself internally. Like I'm looking at myself on screen right now and watching myself talk, listening to myself talk, and it's interesting to see yourself from a third-person perspective, kind of like you do in video games, because throughout life we literally always see everything from a first-person perspective. There's no, camera that can come out of our heads and view the world outside of our own body. Life itself is a first-person adventure. We don't necessarily get to see things from any other person's point of view unless we ourselves are in the same room with them, or we watch it from a TV or things like that. I guess that's why first-person games are always so immersive, is because you're inside the main character's head. And when you're inside the main character's head like that, there's a sense of immersion that you typically don't get from a third-person game or a side-scroller or whatever. I mean, Minecraft, for example, this is a first-person game, but you can shift to a third-person game. But I've tried both, and more often than not, I've been in the first-person perspective, because for whatever reason, the crosshair is always on the player model. So it always makes it look like the crosshair is pointing at the player's head. And I have no idea how someone's supposed to, shoot an arrow with that crosshair in the way. I mean, the head is in the crosshair's way. And so I don't see any real way to, aim at a faraway enemy or whatever. For some reason, I can't stop saying "or whatever." Not sure if this is going to be a fun stream to watch after the fact. I mean, it's just some dude talking, and there's no flashy images, there's no one in the chat. That reminds me, I was also thinking of having live streams only be available to the public for a limited time. So, I might make a stream on Saturday and it'll only be public for a week or so. By that point, once the week is done, it'll be unlisted or privatized, one of the two. But maybe at some point I would bring it back, for public viewing for a limited number of days. But I haven't really thought it through yet all that much. Oh, some of the presents that I got from people on Christmas. My folks got me these Minecraft joke books. Yeah, right there. Booby traps, bombs, boo-boos, and more. Jokes for Minecrafters. An unofficial joke book for Minecrafters. 800 plus jokes inside. Blocks, boxes, blasts, and blowouts. Hysterical jokes for Minecrafters. 800 plus jokes inside. An unofficial joke book for Minecrafters. So, Yeah, they keep bringing up the fact that these are unofficial books for Minecrafters, whereas this is an official book, and I'm not sure if I brought this up before, but you can tell it's official because it has this official Mojang logo right here, and it's really hard to see, but it says Mojang. It says Mojang, like that part you can see, but underneath it says official product. So you know it's a legit product from the people who made Minecraft, as opposed to something like this. Although one has to wonder that if this is if this is unofficial, then how do they make money from it? I don't really know the whole. I don't know how the whole process or of that works exactly. No, seriously, I couldn't really describe it to you like how that works exactly. Like unofficial, like that'd be like if they made an unofficial Halo book or unofficial unofficial Resident Evil book, unofficial unofficial Witcher book. I don't know. But I really hope you guys have a good rest of your 2021, because 2022. I'm really hoping that things will change for the better for a lot of people. I'm not just talking about things like the pandemic or social injustice, but just the kinds of things everyone has happening in their lives right now, because I'm sure a lot of us feel like we're in a rut. We feel like we're stuck in one place, and we're trying to help ourselves figure out a way to get unstuck, figure out ways to move forward. Lord knows I am. I'm continually pursuing an acting career, voiceover stuff, ways to figure out how to make this YouTube channel and possibly others even better. I mean, these are just struggles of my own. There's also my dating life, but I don't want to focus too much on that. Speaking of which, let me just check something. Waiting for someone to get back to me, but they never have. It's always weird when someone doesn't get back to you and they never talk to you again, and they don't really say why. Like if it was something I did or something they did. Like, that always seems to be a problem with online dating. Like if things suddenly stop, you don't know whose fault it is. And because the person who's no longer talking to you says like whose fault it is, or like why they stopped talking to you, you can't help but assume that you're at fault. Because, you're there and they're not. So how can you blame the other person? I've had my fair share of those experiences, feeling like it was somehow my fault. Try not to get too hung up over that. Because, sometimes people say that I need to develop a thick skin, and what's weird is that just when I think my skin's gotten pretty well calloused, someone finds a way to rip said callus off. So something tells me that, building up a thick skin is BS because it can be fragile too. But again, I've gotten a bit more used to it, rejection. To an extent, though. Like, there is a part of me that's still a little affected by it, but I'm starting to become a little habituated, like maybe there was just something else going on in my life. Maybe this person, like in the grand scheme of things, this person is no longer part of my life because down the line, some even better person is going to come along to be a part of my life. I like to think that's the most likely scenario. You know, in some way, we all deserve love. I think there are a lot of people in the world who are full of hate and cause problems for other people. I think the reason why they exist is because they haven't gotten the kinds of love they wanted. And because of that, it's sort of led them astray. Sort of led them down a path in which they have virtually no chance of coming back from. And sometimes it feels like redemption is sort of a hard thing to ask for, or too much to ask for. Sometimes it's a thing that, in fact, Gintama has called the gap. When a person who's primarily a saint, like a really good hard character, like makes a mistake once, or they lose their mind, or like have an attitude once, suddenly their whole perfect image is shattered. And then there's like the people who are total jerks who cause nothing but misery for other people, but one amazing good deed and suddenly their reputation goes through the roof. That's what the gap is. So it kind of makes you think, is it better to be mostly a good person who pays deep consequences for making a single mistake? Or is it better to be a not so good person, but one really good deed can, suddenly make your reputation go up? Kind of makes you think, doesn't it? It's like if you're known to be a jerk and they're used to it at that point, then you can pretty much get away with anything. But if you're a nice person and they always expect you to be nice, and suddenly you get angry and mean one time, suddenly you're not in such a good light anymore. It's kind of unfair, isn't it? It's a real discrepancy. Humans are stupid, aren't they? Sorry, I'm kind of lost in my own head right now. I tend to get a little philosophical and analytical every now and then. I think that's also a thing that turns people away from me, possibly even on dating sites. I guess it's too much for people to handle all at once. Who knows? No one's gonna flat out give me the answer on the spot. No one is just gonna come up to you and say, hey, these are problems you gotta fix right now. Fix them. And that's the thing. Sometimes when you do try to fix the problem, you either end up making an even worse mistake. And I think that also applies to dating as well, because, like, let's say things were going well between you and a match that you had on an app, and one day they just stop. Like, let's say for whatever reason it was your fault. Let's say that the reason they no longer talk to you anymore is because you did or said something and now they no longer want anything to do with you. But they don't tell you exactly why, or like they don't tell you exactly what it is you did. But because they don't say what you did, you're bound to make the same mistake with someone else. And the whole cycle repeats again. They don't tell you, they go away. Then the next person comes along and goes away. They don't tell you, they go away. And so people might say that educating someone else is a burden, but to that I say, I think it's a necessary burden, because if you have the power to prevent something bad from happening, don't you think you ought to do it? Because call me crazy, if a match does something that makes you uncomfortable and you don't say what it is, and said person goes and repeats that mistake and it somehow hurts another person, then you're part of the blame. Because again, you could have told them what was wrong, and you could have possibly stopped them from making the same mistake. Is there a chance that they could make the same mistake even if you do tell them? Oh, absolutely. But it's also possible that you could stop it, if there's even a slight chance you could. Don't you think it's at least worth part of an effort? I guess people only want to handle so much responsibility. They don't want too much on them. I mean, too much responsibility put onto them. I've actually talked about this kind of stuff with other people. But I'm not trying to sound negative or whatever. It's just an observation. I don't want to make it come across like depressing or whatever. I'm just trying to get a point across. Just trying to elaborate upon how the human mind works and the circumstances that may arise from how that mind works. I mean, people have done all kinds of things depending on the kinds of things that they have going on in their mind. They've had wars, they've started religions, they started countries, and Lord knows what else. Imagine all the conflict in the world could have been absolutely negated if someone had just told them what they needed to do so that it wouldn't happen. Maybe we don't want to be burdened with educating, but the fact that we call education a burden is kind of troublesome in my opinion. Because if we don't educate a person so that they don't make a mistake, then who will? Who? And if they continue to make that mistake again and again, I'm sorry, but that person is partly to blame for not explaining why. Like, if a house was catching on fire and you had a chance to put out the fire, don't you think you should? Like, you have a garden, like there's a garden hose, there's fire, you run to the garden hose and put it out before things get out of control. Like, let's say you don't stop the fire. Yeah, the fire is the one that caused the building to burn down, but you had the chance to put out the fire, but you didn't. We need to take more risks. We need to take chances. But yeah, I think that's enough philosophy for one live stream. I want to end this on a more positive note. I want to thank everyone for being on this channel with me for as long as they have. You're all really great. And I can't wait to see what the new year brings us. I'll probably have a live stream like the day after New Year's or on New Year's. I haven't really decided yet. Maybe there will be one on New Year's, but again, I have to think about it. Maybe it'll be something similar to this. Maybe I'll read a book. Who knows? But in the meantime, I want to thank everybody for attending this live stream. And I hope you all have an amazing rest of